Most personal finance advice is written for people who already have their finances together. This one is different. It was written for the person who knows they should be doing something with their money, has been meaning to start for months, maybe years, and has not. Not because they are irresponsible. Not because they do not care, because every piece of financial advice they have ever encountered assumed a level of existing knowledge, existing discipline, existing infrastructure they simply did not have, and so they did nothing, which is the most expensive financial decision a person can make. Today we go completely inside one of the most practical and immediately actionable books ever written about personal finance for young people. So completely, so thoroughly, that by the time this ends you will not need to read a single page yourself. Every system, every script, every specific action, right here. This is I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi, and nothing about how you manage your money on a practical daily basis will feel the same after this. Ramit Sethi is not a traditional financial advisor. He is not trying to sell you a fund or manage your portfolio. He is someone who became obsessed in his early 20s with one specific question: why do so many intelligent, capable, financially motivated young people still manage their money badly? And after years of research, testing, and direct engagement with hundreds of thousands of people, his answer was both simple and actionable. The problem is not knowledge. Most people know they should save more, invest regularly, avoid high-interest debt. The problem is system. The absence of an automated, intelligent, low-maintenance financial infrastructure that makes the right behavior happen automatically, without requiring daily discipline or decision, because discipline fails. Decisions fatigue, but systems work, consistently, quietly, without requiring you to be perfect. His book is a 6-week program, specific, actionable, designed not for people who love personal finance, but for people who want their finances handled well so they can spend their mental energy on the things they actually care about. This book is for you if you are earning money, spending money, and have only the vaguest sense of where the difference goes. This book is for you if you have been meaning to start investing for more than 6 months and have not started. And this book is for you if you want a financial system that works on autopilot, that does not require daily tracking or constant willpower. That simply functions whether you're paying attention or not. If any of those land, stay with this. The first idea is the one that makes everything else possible. Automation is not a shortcut. It is the entire strategy. Sethi's central insight is that the biggest obstacle to good financial behavior is not knowledge or motivation. It is friction. The friction between intention and action. The friction of remembering to transfer money to savings. The friction of deciding how much to invest this month. The friction of choosing between spending and saving every single time money arrives. And friction, accumulated across months and years, is what turns good intentions into nothing. The solution is to eliminate the friction entirely, not through discipline, through automation. By building a system where the right financial behavior happens before you ever see the money, before the temptation to spend it can form, before the decision needs to be made, where saving is not a choice you make every month, it is something that simply happens. Where investing is not a discipline you maintain, it is something that simply occurs, where the system works, whether you're motivated or distracted or exhausted or busy. Sethi calls this the conscious spending plan, and it is built on one principle: automate the important things. Spend freely on the rest. Not equal restraint across every category, not tracking every dollar. Deliberate automation of the things that build wealth, and genuine freedom to spend without guilt on everything else. The practical question right now is, how many of your important financial behaviors require a conscious decision every month? Every one of those decisions is a point of failure. and every point of failure can be automated. The second idea is the one most young people skip and pay for across an entire lifetime. Credit cards are not the enemy. Ignorance of how to use them is. Sethi makes an argument that surprises most people entering the personal finance world. Credit cards, used correctly, are one of the most powerful financial tools available to anyone starting their financial life. Not because of the credit they provide, because of the rewards, the consumer protections, the credit history they build. The person who uses a credit card for normal spending pays the full balance every single month and collects the rewards, is extracting genuine value from the system at zero cost. The person who carries a balance is paying 18 to 24% interest on money they have already spent. That interest is one of the most destructive forces in personal finance. Not because the percentage sounds large in the abstract, because it compounds relentlessly. $1,000 balance at 20% interest, minimum payments only, takes years to eliminate and costs multiples of the original amount. Sethi's rule is simple: use the card, pay the full balance, every month, without exception. If you cannot pay the full balance, you spent more than you earned. And the solution to that problem is not the credit card. It is the spending. He also walks through exactly how to negotiate with credit card companies, how to call and request fee waivers, interest rate reductions, credit limit increases, scripts included, because most people do not realize that a single 5-minute phone call can eliminate a fee, reduce an interest rate, or improve terms they assumed were fixed. The system is more negotiable than most people realize, and knowing that changes how you engage with it. The third idea is the one that determines the entire trajectory of your financial life. Start investing now, not when you feel ready. Sethi is direct about this with a precision that should make anyone who has been waiting feel a specific discomfort. The single most powerful variable in your entire financial future is not how much you earn, not how brilliantly you invest, not how perfectly you time the market. It is how early you start. Because of compounding. Because time in the market produces results that no amount of later optimization can replicate. He uses a specific comparison that should permanently end the "I will start when I have more money" conversation. Two people. Person A starts investing $200 a month at age 25 and stops at 35. 10 years of contributions. Person B waits until 35 and invests $200 a month until 65. 30 years of contributions, assuming identical returns. Person A ends with more money, 3 times as many years of contributions from Person B, and Person A still wins, because the first 10 years of compounding are worth more than the next 30, because time is the variable that cannot be purchased later. The practical instruction is not optimize your investment strategy. The practical instruction is open the account today, not tomorrow, not after you have researched every option, not after you feel more financially stable. Today, because the account that does not exist cannot compound. And the account opened today with $50 is worth infinitely more than the perfect account opened next year. The fourth idea is the infrastructure that makes the whole system work, the conscious spending plan, and the ladder that builds it. Sethi lays out a specific sequence of financial accounts and automations that together constitute a complete financial infrastructure, not as abstract advice, as a precise ladder. Each rung must be climbed before the next. Rung 1. A high-yield savings account for your emergency fund and short-term goals. Not a standard bank savings account paying a fraction of a percent. A high-yield account paying meaningful interest. The difference across years is significant. Rung 2, your employer's retirement account. Specifically up to the full employer match. This is the single highest guaranteed return available anywhere in personal finance. An employer who matches 50% of your contribution up to 6% of salary is giving you a 50% return instantly. On every dollar contributed up to that match. Declining that match is declining free money. There is no investment anywhere that guarantees a 50% return, and yet millions of people leave it uncollected. Rung 3, a Roth IRA, tax-free growth on investments made with after-tax dollars. For young people specifically, in the early stages of earning, the Roth IRA is one of the most powerful long-term wealth-building tools available. Rung 4. Back to the employer account to maximize contributions beyond the match. Rung 5. A regular taxable investment account for anything beyond. The latter is not complicated. It does not require financial expertise. It requires sequence, the right account in the right order, with the right automation, and the system builds wealth quietly in the background. The fifth idea is the one that separates Sethi from almost every other personal finance writer. Spend lavishly on what you love. Cut mercilessly on what you don't. This is the philosophy that makes the conscious spending plan feel like freedom rather than deprivation. Sethi explicitly rejects the idea of equal restraint across all spending categories. The goal is not to spend less on everything. The goal is to spend freely on the things that genuinely matter to you and eliminate spending on everything that does not. He calls these your spending priorities, the categories where money genuinely translates into happiness and meaning in your specific life. For some people, that is travel. For others, it is food. For others, it is fitness, or music, or clothing, or experiences. Whatever it is for you, Sethi argues you should spend on those categories guilt-free, not recklessly, not without limits, but without the constant second-guessing and anxiety that makes spending feel wrong even when it aligns with your values. The funding for that guilt-free spending comes from eliminating the unconscious spending, the subscriptions barely used, the categories that absorb money without delivering satisfaction, the spending driven by habit or convenience rather than genuine preference. Cutting those categories does not feel like deprivation because they were never delivering joy. They were just leaving. The exercise right now is simple. List your 5 most important spending categories, the ones where money genuinely improves your life. And then look at your last month of spending and ask, does the money actually go there? The sixth idea is the one most people find surprisingly practical. Negotiate everything and use the scripts Sethi provides. One of the most distinctive elements of this book is its willingness to provide actual word-for-word scripts for financial conversations that most people find intimidating. Calling to waive a credit card late fee, negotiating a lower interest rate, asking for a salary increase, disputing a charge. Each of these conversations has a structure, a tone, and a specific approach that dramatically increases the outcome. Most people do not negotiate these things not because they cannot, but because they do not know how. And not knowing how feels like embarrassment, like potential rejection, like a conversation to avoid. Sethi removes that barrier completely. Here are the exact words. Here is the exact tone. Here's what to say when they say no. The financial impact of these conversations across a lifetime is significant. A single salary negotiation that delivers $3,000 more per year compounds across decades into hundreds of thousands. A credit card interest rate reduction saves real money every single month. A fee waiver takes 5 minutes and delivers the full amount. These are not complicated skills. They are learnable scripts. And most people never use them because nobody ever told them they could. Now let me give you the central truth that sits at the heart of everything this book is trying to tell you. Getting rich is not complicated. It is not glamorous. It is not reserved for people with exceptional talent or extraordinary discipline. It requires one thing above everything else: a system, a simple, automated, intelligent system that makes the right financial behavior happen by default, regardless of your motivation on any given day. Set it up once, maintain it occasionally, and let it work, while you spend your time and energy on the things that actually matter to you. That is the entire promise, and it is available to anyone, including you. Automate, invest, live richly. Now the honest warning. Reading this book will not make you rich. Understanding the conscious spending plan will not fund your retirement. Watching this video will not open a single account. Only action will. Only the specific, unglamorous, 30-minute act of opening the account, setting up the automation, making the one phone call. That action taken once changes the trajectory of everything that follows. Knowledge without action is just financial entertainment, and you have been entertained long enough. Open the account today. Here are your 4 action steps this week. Step 1. Open a high-yield savings account today if you do not already have one. Not tomorrow, not after more research. Today, the difference in interest between a standard savings account and a high-yield account across 10 years is significant. Step 2. Check your employer's retirement match today. Log into your HR system or call HR and find out exactly what your employer matches. If you're not contributing enough to collect the full match, you're leaving free money on the table. Fix that this week. Step 3. Automate one transfer. Set up one automatic transfer from your checking account to savings or investment today, even a small amount. Because the automation is the point, not the amount. Step 4. Make one negotiation call this week. Call your credit card company and ask for a fee waiver or interest rate reduction. Use Sethi's approach. Be direct, be polite, be persistent. The worst they can say is no, and the best they can say saves you money. Let us bring this home. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi is not a book about deprivation. It is not a book about tracking every dollar or optimizing every decision. It is a book about systems, about building the financial infrastructure that makes wealth building automatic, that makes guilt-free spending possible. And that frees you from the constant low-level financial anxiety that drains energy from every other area of your life. It teaches you that the goal is not to be good with money. The goal is to build a system so good that you barely have to think about money, and then go live your life. So let me leave you with one question. If your financial system ran perfectly on autopilot from today, what would you do with the mental energy you currently spend worrying about money? Drop a comment below and tell me which idea hit you hardest. Was it the automation strategy, the investment ladder, or the permission to spend lavishly on what you love? I read every single one, and if you're not subscribed, do that now, because next week we go even deeper. I will see you there.